Happening now on Newsroom Africa, Channel 405. It's Your View, and we continue with our conversation then around the state versus the church, right? The Commission for the Promotion and Protection of Rights of Cultural, Religious and Linguistic Communities calling for stricter religious regulations amidst the rise of dubious institutions. A similar call was made by the Commission in 2018, but yet to be heeded, of course, the agreement at this particular point in time is that, this is a point that has been made previously, that there are enough legal instruments. The legal regime in this country is robust enough that people who misbehave, they can be caught and put behind bars, right? But you cannot now get into a space where you want to interfere with doctrine. In essence, what people believe and what they believe they should practice in their religion. The last time they went at each other, they were talking about African spirituality in another room. They agreed that they will have coffee, but I believe the coffee has not happened.
Yeah, not yet.
But I've called them back in for round two. Shimi Kotu is a founder and chairman of the Shimi Kotu Ministries, as well as Bishop Joshua Maponga. He is an author and a philosopher. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, it's good to have both of you.
But remember, boxing takes 12 rounds. So we're on round two.
So we're still on round two, right? So we're not going to determine yet who stands. All right, you can call us 010-594-5140 as well to be a part of that conversation. Let's start there. I mean, pastors want a right to teach. They want the right to preach. They want the right to, most importantly, believe. And you have a very interesting view, especially on belief. How do you police what people believe?
You can't. And we've said it previously, and we'll keep saying that until somebody hears. We're a secular state. Our constitution says we're not concerned with matters of spirituality or religion. So as far as our constitution is concerned, there's no difference between a taxi driver and a preacher and somebody, except that religion plays itself out in the sacred space of conscience, of the right to worship and the right to associate, and we're saying that's sacred, as declared by the Constitution. And both Parliament agrees with us and the Constitutional Court agrees with us, because the Constitutional Court says it does not matter how bizarre, it does not matter how unconventional or strange anyone's religious practice is, as long as nothing unlawful, nothing illegal, or nothing harmful is happening, let them be. Now, what I find ironic is you cannot reject what I believe in and dictate how I practice it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the point you say, I would never care if it existed or not.
Right.
Let me be. How I practice it within the confines of the law is none of your business, really.
But I understand bizarre. I mean, I understand the working of the Holy Spirit. To some people who are secular, it might sound bizarre. But even for somebody who believes in the workings of the Holy Spirit, there have been bizarre things.
Yeah, but
right? Even illegal, unlawful things that have been done.
If anything unlawful or illegal shows up, we are in agreement with Parliament. When the Civil Rights Commission under Kaluva made the presentation to Parliament, the lawmaker said, your recommendations are necessary. That means we have enough institutions to enforce the laws, but we have enough laws to deal with every complaint you have. But they're also unworkable. Yeah. You want us to introduce a different tier of enforcement that is going to cost and never yield any benefit, but also they're unconstitutional. Now, the legislature kicked them out. And that's the truth the Civil Rights Commission is not telling South Africa. That the legislature kicked them out, and right now, if you go anywhere around Parliament, there is no schedule between the Civil Rights Commission for the next year. That means politically, this matter is off the table. Now, two, the president made an utterance, the head of the executive. Yeah. So that's the second leg of state. And he says, what you want us to do is violate the religious rights of these people. Now, the third leg of the state, the judiciary, they said, if nothing harmful and nothing illegal is happening, let them be. But let me correct the statement made earlier, because there is not only the works of the Holy Spirit at work here. I'm not a Hindu.
Yeah.
They do a lot of strange things.
Yeah.
I'm not a Muslim. They do a lot of strange. I don't understand why I have to take my shoes off if I'm going to church, because the floor is cold. Or maybe I'm damaging the carpet. But it looks strange and bizarre to me. I don't understand how, if a young man is going to go through passage from being a youth to an adult,
Yeah.
he has to have all that heavy makeup on his face and wear a jacket. I don't understand. That's bizarre to me. So the strangeness of religious practice is not only confined to Christians. Every religious, every community has strange practices. Why can't I take salt out at night?
Yeah.
You know, why can't girls eat eggs? It's all bizarre.
Yeah.
But nothing harmful and nothing illegal is happening. Because if anything harmful or illegal were happening, we would call the law enforcement agency.
Maponga J, let's bring you in here. I mean, part of what it's done now, the report was investigating, was the appointment into office of the certain pastors. Say, no, you need to have a theology degree, which I suppose if you read 1 Timothy chapter 3, it's in conflict, because 1 Timothy chapter 3 says you've got to have a sense of calling, and you can start a church and become a pastor, and they're saying, no, you must have a qualification.
I'll get my argument started on the upside.
Yeah.
Our discussion for this evening is between church and state.
Yeah.
And both institutions are foreign to African ground. The state does not have its indigeneity on African governance systems. The church, as we practice it now, is not necessarily an African sort of concept which has its practice within the African space. So we are basically arguing the missionaries and the mercenaries. The missionaries become the pastors. The mercenaries become the politicians. Let's zoom down to where we are coming to, where my honorable pastor Kotu has been discussing. When a man tells a man to stop drinking his tablets because faith must kick in, that man has assumed a doctor's responsibility. And doctors are not governed by CRL. They're governed by the Ministry of Health, because they're qualified to tell a person what to drink and what not to drink and when to drink it.
Yeah.
So when a pastor places himself in that space, he needs to have the academic qualification that allows him to do that. Another illustration, when a pastor decides to drive his car in Soshanguve over members on the ground to prove the power of God.
Yeah.
Okay, this now belongs to OSHA, health and safety. In case his experiment does not work, does he have backup plans, ambulances, and other things to cushion what might go wrong in this space? When a man decides to make people eat grass and flowers in his garden, bizarre, I'm addressing bizarre, then this man is now moving into the image of health and food and diets. And under food and health and diet, is grass consumable? Is it clean? Is no dogs and donkeys peed on it? Is it being served in a... So immediately when pastors move away from the thus says the Lord, and they begin to get involved in all these bizarre things, and particularly in the South African space, I think I'm in context, we have seen quite a number of, a plethora of exacerbated demonstrations of stuff that is paranormal.
Yes.
And some of this stuff borders on other ministries. Yeah. So I don't have a problem, per se, as an individual, except that the ministers practicing these things, can you just make sure that the community is safe? The people's lives are safe. Yeah. Over and above you trying to exaggerate or get authenticity over your religious beliefs, is what you are doing safe? Yeah. And is it biblical? Yeah. On the other end, what are you trying to prove in the midst of demonstrating these things? After demonstrating the power of God, so what?
But now, that is where this question of peer review mechanism comes into play, because what you believe is biblical and what Shimikotu believes is biblical can be two different things, and you can interpret it in different ways. Somebody can say, well, I'm demonstrating the power of God to say, I can make you eat grass without getting the approval from the Food and Health Beverage, whatever organization, or without getting that certificate that says there is this thing that I'm going to do to drive over people is not a hazard.
What I'm demonstrating is that if we say we're running with the Constitution and the religious practices are subject to the Constitution, which is supreme over a state, then it means that Islam, Christianity, African indigenous religions, Hinduism, and everyone must adhere to the Constitution. So there's no way you can have government officials walking around restaurants, closing them down because they don't adhere to health rules. Yet churches are getting away with it in the name of religion. I'm saying if you want to start tampering in terms of your practice, with your practices that are now tapping away from the simple, thus says the Lord, from the pulpit, and you want to do demonstrations, some of them which are safety demonstrations, health demonstrations, practical demonstrations, financial demonstrations, miracle money demonstrations, and whatever you want to do, miracle children, medical, and because religion tends to have an ungovernable space of practice because it's spiritual. It covers everything. But when you begin to tamper with fundamentals which tickle the constitution of a country, I'm saying you need to fall under the jurisdiction of those experiments.
Is that what you're going for, Dr. Shimi?
No.
An ungovernable space.
No, let's start with this first comment that the church or religion.
Some churches, not all churches.
No, I'm talking about them being non-indigenous. You said two things. You said what? Christianity is non-indigenous and politics. Now, if that was a valid argument, we shouldn't be sitting here because this is un-African. You can never diminish the benefit of anything because it never originated within the context of what you accept as African. Then why are we doing it? The cameras are not indigenous to Africa. It's not a valid argument. We should look at the benefit it offers within the confines of the law. Because look at the banking system. It's not African. but if it has benefit, we leverage the benefit and go with it. So that's not where the problem is. The problem is our argument is not shallow, neither is it unfounded. Because as I sit here, Parliament, the Constitutional Court, and the Executive agree with their view that there are enough laws to deal with the concerns you raised. And the concerns he has raised are not invalid. He's raising valid concerns. But now, we are saying, where I sit as a Christian, there are various traditions within Christianity. Okay? Before Joshua became who he is, was a Seventh-day Adventist. I believe I worship every day. He used to believe that he worships on Saturday. It used to be bizarre. Hey, we're going out shopping and Joshua's going to church. That's bizarre. Every year, when the Hindus celebrate their holidays, they walk on coal, burning coals. That sounds dangerous. They pierce themselves with swords. That's bizarre. Now, the question we've asked in the past is it wrong to eat grass in church or is it wrong for humans to consume grass? We should ask that. Because if eating grass, because it's not healthy, is wrong, it should be wrong anywhere, not just in church. I would never do any of those dumb things because I find them both dumb and very bizarre.
But that's the point that he's saying. He's saying, I mean, if a hotel, a restaurant were to decide we are just going to feed people grass, that would be a problem.
Yeah, but
right?
the entire African continent, we are eating food that has not gone through. What about your backyard garden? The same argument will hold true for your backyard garden. I grow tomatoes. So if we are to follow his argument, that means I have my own backyard garden where I live. I grow tomatoes. But before I eat them, they must be stamped by the health department.
Okay, let's take a break. We'll come back and continue this conversation. Dr. Shimi Kuti as well as Joshua Maponga with us here this evening. We'll unpack a little bit more of what they're talking about. On Your View, Newsroom Africa, Channel 405. We're back in a moment. All right, we continue the conversation, church versus state. We've got Dr. Shimi Kuti as well as Bishop Joshua Maponga to help us through this conversation. Before the break, we were discussing, of course, that whole idea that churches are entering into a space, I mean, my sense, that is already regulated. So immediately when you are talking to someone to say, stop taking your medication because you have been healed by faith, are you interfering with the work that doctors are doing? And therefore you need to be, I suppose, some kind of a qualified medical practitioner to make such a statement. Or does the fact that you have faith and you believe in the Bible and you believe in divine healing give you that power to operate and say, practice, your belief and say things like that? Is the church just applying to be ungovernable?
No, we are saying we are in agreement with Parliament and the Constitutional Court have said, if there is any element of criminality, you remember like the guy who sprayed people with doom? He was convicted.
Yes.
You know, there is the other guy from East End. He's doing 30 years for sleeping with young girls in the church. We are not promoting unlawfulness, but we need to define what lawful is outside this legal context. Because the problem is, we agree with Parliament in that the law already defines what crime is. So if we're going to have extra legal definitions of crime, that's where the problem is.
The law already defines what crime is,
yeah.
but the church has not defined what crime is.
No,
In the
it's not
religious
for the church to define what crime
But
is.
your own religious framework does not say to your peer to say, when you are now doing this, you are committing crime.
Then-
It might be still within the bounds
Yeah.
of the Constitution.
Yeah.
But in your faith, as Maponga was saying, you are now committing a crime. You are
We
doing
will
things that
never
are
condone
unbiblical.
crime. We are saying, Thabo, the argument of regulation of religion is not a biblical argument. It's a constitutional argument. It is. Because the Constitution is not concerned with religion. So where the Constitution is sitting, if it's going to be a crime to let people eat grass that has not been okayed by the health, by the Drug and Food Administration, it should be crime to eat tomatoes from your backyard that have not gone through the same process. I can understand what the courts are saying. I'm saying to you now, look at Sangomas, what do you call them, traditional leaders, healers, whatever. They take blades, they pierce people, and they put stuff in there because the ancestors directed them. That looks bizarre, and it borders criminality. Because in medicine, you get consent. And there are people who are below the age of accountability.
Can I throw it?
No,
Can I-
wait,
can I
wait,
throw
wait,
it?
no, no,
I know I was going to open up for you because I know you were
don't-
The witch
break.
doctors have a governance.
No,
They
no,
are
no,
being
no.
regulated.
No,
you
no,
must
no,
have
no.
a certificate.
No,
before
wait,
you practice.
Wait.
Hold on.
We're talking about the workings of the ancestors.
But they have a certificate.
Listen to me.
Ministers
Can
don't
I
want that
go?
certificate.
Can I go to the Department of Health and I get an authorized list of charms for promotion at work? How to attract women? You know what you're talking about. Listen.
But you have a document
No,
that allows you to practice.
The document that says you can take anything and promise people
But you as
anything.
pastors don't want that document.
No, listen to me. What you're saying is
I
untrue.
don't want to listen to you.
There is no
You
list.
don't want that document
No,
as ministers.
wait. What,
Which doctors
what
have that document?
No,
You
no,
can
Okay,
they
practice
don't.
let's get
They
it this
don't.
way. Let's get this
My
way.
point is, Tabula,
Yes.
I have to get this one through. I have to get this one through.
Yes.
Is there a list with the Department of Health or any government institution that says, we are happy that this muti will get you a girlfriend? We are happy that this muti will get you a job. We are happy that this muti will put your
But
marriage
you have a
together.
certificate to practice.
No, but it's nothing. Listen to me.
As pastors, you don't have a certificate to practice.
Pastors have certificate to practice.
With the government.
Within
with
the
government.
confines.
With the
listen to
government.
me, within the confines of
They are
the
within-
denomination.
they are within
All right. I'm
religion.
gonna
No,
get
no,
this. Okay, let me give
No.
Mapong a chance. Weigh in. Go in.
The ministers of the gospel
Yeah.
have graduations from their own religious institutions.
Yeah.
Catholics, Baptist, Adventist, etc. From those religious perspectives, they come straight into practice. Those practices, as and when the church sits down, they approve 2 or 3 of them, like from my I'm coming from an Adventist perspective, to become marriage officers and etc. Then they align them with the government policies. But the rest of the ministers are functioning outside of the policy of the government. It's a fact.
It's not true.
Come with me. I'm telling you from where I'm coming from. 33 years I've been doing this. I'm not thumb sucking.
I've been doing it for 40 years, but you can
Yes, I'm
continue.
giving you facts. It's fine.
No,
Hold on,
continue.
hold on,
Please,
hold on.
okay.
Yes.
But you have
Okay.
ministers at a certain level who are now approved to become accredited ministers, ordained ministers, who can function within, to do marriages and etc., who are now aligned with government policies.
Yes.
But the rest of the other ministers are not necessarily accredited at that level.
Yes.
So I want to put it drastically clear that from graduation at university does not mean that it automatically align with government policies and the constitution. But whereas when it comes to traditional leaders, which you call witch doctors, for you to practice, you need to have or be aligned to an association.
Yeah, the question, hold on, let me put your question. The question is, are then those practices, ukcaba, kata, and so on and so forth, are those practices regulated to say,
Exactly.
this
At a
is
later
how you
stage,
do
we can look at how do we beef up that practice. But in terms of them, at least, no, let's give credit.
Yeah.
In terms of initial practice, at least they have a piece of paper which is a government stamp that says, I can practice as a traditional healer.
All right.
We
Let's-
have ministers in the country
let's-
who don't even have a piece of birth certificate
No.
from the government. That
Let's
allows
take
them
Doc.
to
Let's take Doc from Everton,
Yeah.
and we're gonna come back. Let's take Doc from Everton on the caller. Doc, good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Well, I hope you're well too, Doc.
I have a few points to make about the TRL Commission.
Go for it.
One, they are an unnecessary expense. Two, they are aimless with a high degree of bias. Three, they stimulate people. When you speak to them, they don't listen to understand. They listen to respond. In other words, whatever you say to them make no difference. And most pastors who are now pastors, most of them have been there where the TRL Commission is not interested in doing their search. Because most pastors were practitioners of that which and Demaponga is saying in the studio right there. So there's a deeper knowledge and understanding of what they have left behind. Now, the last point which I need to just make so that I can give other people a chance is that there is a difference between a need and a want. And at the rate at which or in which the TRL Commission is doing, they cannot even qualify if there was a want category because nobody bothers to listen to what they want to say because what they are saying is actually not in the interest of the country.
Yeah.
It's actually an embarrassment.
Doc,
And I hold my point right there.
I appreciate your call this evening. That's Doc there in Everton saying CRL unnecessary bias and they don't understand. They're not listening for understanding. You can weigh in if you want to jump into what he's saying. But here's the thing, from what Maponga is saying, is the church sufficiently competent to deal with transgressions?
Is the church an institution is church a law enforcement agency?
I'll answer.
Where no.
Hold on.
Give me a chance.
Answer and say no.
Let's
let me give you a chance.
I want to give you a chance.
Give me a chance.
I want to answer quickly.
No,
and say no.
Yeah,
It's fine.
It's not. So you can't expect the church to function within an area it is not empowered.
Competent in.
Yeah, the church is based on a philosophy passed on by a man called Jesus. Now, we can never confuse a philosophical point of view with a practice of incising people, making people drink stuff. If you are going to incise people and put stuff in people's bodies, you need a
If
license.
you give them bread and wine
You need,
during Lord's
listen to me.
Supper also
No.
to eat.
But then listen to me. That means we must close all the chesanyamas then. Because
Dunk.
is it wrong to give people food or is it wrong to give people food in
But
church?
where is that food coming
No,
from?
but there is a difference between at
You are
least-
drinking blood.
No, wait.
The blood of Jesus.
No, listen. You sound incoherent, bro. You're disturbing me. But listen to me. I'm saying to you, if we are saying anybody who gives people food must be licensed, let's close all the chesanyamas. But you are evading the point. The point is incising people, putting people, it's administration of drugs and it's an administration of medical procedures. That's why they need to be licensed. The preachers don't do that. We are sharing our faith. We are encouraging people.
Sell water for this.
No, listen to me.
The preachers
Sell
shouldn't
water.
do that.
They shouldn't do that.
They shouldn't do
water.
that.
Yeah, I don't sell. If anybody sells water, they need to go through the correct channels.
No, me and you are in
We've been
agreement.
arguing.
We're
But
not
no, listen.
quarreling. We're in
No,
agreement
we
then.
are quarreling. Let me tell you why.
We're not in agreement.
You are confusing the fact that medical sangomas are doing invasive procedures on people. It's invasive to take a foreign substance, to incise somebody and put it in their body.
And to give a religious
Listen,
water is
listen.
religious.
No, but that's not intrusive.
How do we know what is put in that water?
By medical
Is
definition.
that water approved
Listen to me.
by any medical?
This gentleman brought us water. Is this water approved?
I don't know.
Don't mix the issues. Don't mix the issues. We're talking about intrusive.
The water certainly that comes from the taps in South Africa has been approved to say it's well.
But
I mean,
the water from the
except
pastor,
if you are living in
we don't know.
Amanskrala,
But then that means the pastors are not guilty then. Where
But
is the
we
water
don't know-
coming
we don't know
from?
where
The
that water
comes
comes
the
from.
sea.
We
Listen
don't
to
know
me.
where that comes from.
I don't subscribe to those practices.
Yeah.
But you can
Thank you.
never
Thank you.
equate. You can never equate a glass of water with intrusive medical
There's
procedures.
oils also.
Listen to me, Joshua.
Yes, there's
You're
oils.
not getting my point. I come from the medical fraternity. To incite someone is high.
To drink something
Listen to
is
me.
not high.
Listen to me.
Hold
Listen
on,
to me.
hold on. Yes.
To go to the field there, get a muti, only you know where it comes from. To tell me that it's going to bring my husband back. Cut me up and put it in my head. Bring all my children so you are protecting them. That is so different from me opening my Bible and encouraging people to share my faith.
Okay, I will help you on that. Now, for you to walk up to your religious leader in Nigeria, who blesses you and gives you power to do extra stuff, you come to South Africa, order some olive oils, do some rituals over it, pack it up in whatever boxes, and begin to make a business out of that. And people can drink that and apply it on their own bodies and make it part of their own consumables in terms of their food and consume. And yes, then you say cutting is more different from eating and drinking.
Cutting is different from eating and drinking.
I am saying as long as people, you know what? I give you a chance.
hold on.
As long as people are taking things into their bodies, and those things have not been approved by government.
Right.
And you are going to be doing this at a mass scale.
I want us to talk about other
You
things.
cannot just walk away with
Look, gentlemen, we've exhausted this point. I'm going to
We
move
need to
on.
abolish food
I'm
gardens.
going to move on from it. Tsepo, good evening. In Cape Town.
Yes,
Hi,
how
Tsepo.
are you?
All right, welcome. Go for it, Tsepo.
Yes. First of all, that document that Mr. Mokong is talking about, it's a document that it's like a college. It's a document that proves that, okay, you can have a college, but you're not registered to actually give those curriculums. Do you get me? It's a document that, okay, you can continue to be a practitioner in this country, maybe as a inyanga or as ngaka or healer. But however, it doesn't say that, okay, you are okay or you have the go-ahead to heal certain diseases. So it is that document that says that. So it's not really something that you can say, okay, it is proof that they can heal people. Number two, the issue of spirituality cannot be just dealt with in that manner that the government will just come with laws and try to regulate it, because it's an ungovernable territory. Both of them, as African spirituality and Christianity, those are both spiritual worlds, and spiritual worlds are completely different. You can't prove them, unfortunately. As much as you can want to go around having laws to regulate them, yes, if they infringe on basic human rights, it's a problem. I think even Jesus didn't do that at any point. But everything that he did, whether it was rubbing mud on your eyes, you would get healed. Whether you would hoy water on you, you would get healed. Do you get me? So both of them, they are not really proven, but both of them are helping us, because we as Africans, we do know the proof of it. We have seen them working in our lives. We are like the proof, because it cannot be investigated. You can investigate it and ask people around. That's the best thing you can do ever. Yeah. But in terms of whether certain things do heal, whether certain things can't heal, it's a bit of a problem, because God allows it to happen at that time. So both of them, these guys, you cannot really prove what they are saying. On spirituality, if you're saying, okay, it infringes on human rights, then yes, that one you can go to it. And whether you're saying that grass is unhealthy or not, we don't really know that. People, I mean, they didn't eat
squirrels or sharks for a couple of years and they started eating them and then they were okay for them. Do you get me? So it's the same thing with the issue of grass. You don't know whether the grass is healthy or not. Take it to the doctors and they can check and if it's edible or not. Then if it's not or healthy, then you can. Mushrooms were not eating for a couple of years and they started eating them all of a sudden. Do you get me? So it's something like that when it comes to such issues.
All right, Tsepo
Yes.
in Cape Town. Appreciate that call there. That is Tsepo there calling us from Cape Town. When we come back, I want us to delve into the other issues. Apparently, of course, there is this education curriculum that they're going to be teaching kids as early as grade 4 or 5, which involves sex education. I want to get the views of these deep thinkers and what their views are on that. Stay with us. Your View continues after the break.
Talk about Muti.
All right, staying with us here on Your View, Newsroom Africa, Channel 405, Bishop Maponga J, as well as Dr. Shimi Gotu, helping us through a very difficult conversation. I did warn you that they are, of course, still owing each other coffee, and hopefully it will happen in the new year, where they can iron out some of these other issues. But Carmen, what are people saying on Twitter this evening?
Thanks, Thabo. Well, let's take a look at a tweet that we got in Khomotso here saying both your guests are right. There should be relationality in the practices upheld by whichever group. There's no belief superior to the other. What matters is keeping within the law. The fight should be against bizarre acts. Moiketsi from Alex saying problems with nowadays churches is forensic prophecy whereby everything is manufactured for pastors to gain wealth. We need revolutionary pastors who will teach Bible truthfully. So let's take a look at Bongani from Duduza here saying religions are just a cult targeting weak minds. That's why I don't believe in religion, but in God. Belila here from Standerton, the church must never think that it is above the law. Remember that we are dealing with a human behavior. All human behavior in church or anywhere else must be regulated. On that note, Thabo, it's back to you.
Thank you, Carmen. There, okay, we'll take some of those issues that they're raising, but is it Peter on the line now joining us? Peter, good evening. Peter? Oh, Tebogo, I beg your pardon. Tebogo.
Yes, how are you, man?
I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm okay, man. You know how, to start with, what I found strange is that they are talking about regulation of religion, but they are strictly targeting the indigenous, Pentecostal, and charismatic churches. To this day, they haven't called any Muslim or any Hindu, regardless how bizarre their practices are. And my second point is this, Thabo. If I wake up drinking petrol and eating cars, I've got the right to do so. And the mandate of the CRL is to protect that right, not to work against it. The day they wake up and say, no, they will not be regulated for eating cars or drinking petrol, they are actually functioning outside their mandate. They should be protecting me to practice those rights. That is the mandate of the CRL, not try to regulate.
Okay.
So I don't believe that Dr. Shimiko is right there.
Tebogo, much appreciated. Tebogo is saying that the work of the CRL, their mandate really is to protect the rights, not to regulate them. But also, you can give me here information. Are they only targeting the indigenous Catholic churches?
Regulation of religion is a misnomer. They're not concerned about any other religion. Neither are they concerned about the Christian religion in general. They're concerned about the mushrooming of your independent Pentecostal charismatic churches, especially those who are opposed to the idea of peer review committees, interfaith peer review committees. Failing to understand that your interfaith movement is not an amalgamation of beliefs. It's a new religion. It is.
Okay, why? Why do you say that?
Because interfaith would not be supported from any holy script. The Quran does not support interfaith. The Quran will never tell you that Jesus and Muhammad are equal. The interfaith movement is not supported by the Christian Bible. The interfaith is not supported by the African traditionalists. They believe in the ancestors, not Jesus or Muhammad. Now, where we sit, we are saying interfaith is not an amalgamation or consolidation of beliefs. It's a new religion. For you to subscribe to interfaith, you have to step out of Christianity, out of Islam, out of Hinduism, into this concoction called interfaith. Now, we are saying we will never subject ourselves to an interfaith. That means you are taking our religion and putting it in the hands of people who believe different from what you believe in. If you take an imam, a Christian pastor, a Hindu priest, an African traditionalist, and you put them around the table and you talk about the same God, they have formed a new religion. Because African traditionalism will never accept that. Christian will never accept that. Islam will never accept that. Neither will Hinduism. So we are saying we'll never subject the practice of our religion. That now, somebody outside my belief must license me.
Yeah.
So somebody who to be licensed by,
Yeah.
I have to accept that confusion that all gods are equal.
All right. I have 5 minutes, literally. And
I want to shoot.
Okay.
Let
what
me
do you want to
shoot
say?
quickly.
Yeah.
That the Constitution is not a Christian document. The Constitution is not an Islamic document. The Constitution is not an African traditional document. The Constitution is a bully over all indigenous systems. And the Constitution, by right, it is a Roman Dutch baby that is coming to us in the same whim of colonialism. Take note that though Christianity and African indigenous religions could have a same background of Abrahamic faith in terms of their genesis.
Right.
But when a Eurocentric Roman Dutch law comes and imposes itself as constitution over an African continent, then it imposes a totally different colonial system that only can understand practices here in relation to itself. So therefore I declare, and I say it again, that the constitution of any country, particularly if it's a democratic country, approved by the Roman Dutch law, it is a bully to African indigenous knowledge, a bully to Christianity, a bully to African indigenous faith, and etc.
So we must accept then on that point, because we're really not going to have time to get into the next thing I want to talk about, that the relationship between the church and state in South Africa will and is and will continue to be difficult. It will be difficult for the church to critically discuss any government issue, and it will also be difficult for government to discuss any church.
By virtue of two facts. The Bible declares Christianity a heavenly kingdom. And the Constitution says you'd never matter if there was Christianity or not. That sums up
I
my
want to
answer.
say religion and Christianity, the church and state are in a good relationship because their boss is the same. It's a colonial master.
But then,
Wow.
but the point is, listen to what? The point is, we have to accept the rule of law.
The rule of law
Wait.
that is white-centered.
Yeah, but you have accepted it. You are sitting on a westernized thing.
If potatoes, if
Listen to me.
watermelons grow in my
Yeah,
yard,
yeah.
when they're planted in my neighbor's yard, they belong to me.
Yeah, but listen to me. You can't reject a portion of a system you benefit from.
But
You
I can
can't- no.
maximize and use the
You
portion
can't do that. Yeah.
to my own benefit
But
when
your
it is in my
reasoning-
space.
If we follow your reason to its logical conclusion, you are advocating for anarchy. Because no, listen.
but
Because,
you're accommodating white anarchy.
no, listen to me. You have means as a South African to change that through your vote. If the majority of South Africans have accepted it, endorsed it, live with it or leave the country.
Voting for a colonial system
Yeah, but if you're not
does not
everything-
change the system.
Democracy is not
It's
the
democracy.
will.
It's not democracy.
Yeah, fine,
It's
but,
democracy.
But democracy
Wait, hold on.
is not the will of individuals.
Yeah.
It's the will of the collective.
It's
Now,
10 million
if-
South
yeah.
Africans who in the mass of 52 million
You are
who have voted.
advocating. You are advocating for anarchy, and I'm saying to you, you are watering down your whole argument. I'm saying to you, I accept the Constitution as a supreme law in the country, because it recognizes that my space, my religious right is sacred. And it would never matter how I practice it, as long as I was not doing anything illegal.
Let's agree.
or- No.
I don't accept the Constitution on the basis that it does not recognize me as an indigenous person who is free to practice.
That makes you an anarchist.
No. Don't give me a European-centered definition of who I am.
You are talking
Because
in European language right now. You reject everything
Musat
European.
Mawuya.
Why don't you talk in a language now? Yeah?
Musat Mawuya.
Look at how inconvenient it is when you switch on to your language. So maybe we should have
Stop it,
better
stop it.
appreciation for the
Wait.
Western culture.
Wait. Mapoka, wrap up. You got 30 seconds.
So if you say I must speak in my indigenous knowledge, I'm saying the European system must at least, if we are supposed to define freedom,
Yeah.
first the rule of freedom must that people whom we find and we say we are free, they must be free to be
Yes.
what they want to be.
Okay.
And not bring your own rules of how they must free themselves in the midst of your own freedom as an oppressor over them.
Yeah.
So if our constitution does not respect indigenous people, then it's not freedom at all.
We're going to have to leave it there because we are out of time. Sure, we've still got 10 rounds to go because this was round 2. And of course, the sparring goes on for 12 rounds. That's where we're going to leave it tonight here on Your View. We will, of course,
Back to our corners,
be back on Your View again tomorrow, not with myself, but as we play you some of those interviews that were packaged earlier on just for the festive season. So until we speak frankly again in the new year, thank you for watching. God bless you and good night.